Hi, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today we have another student from Cornell Johnson. Her name is Prakriti Dubey, and she's in the Cornell Tech MBA program. And I just want to give a big shout out for her to be able to conduct this interview with me virtually. It's great that she's able to give her time and all of her energy also to be devoted to this. So Prakriti, without further ado, if you'd like to kind of just give an introduction for all the viewers here and give a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so hello everyone, and thanks Ekta for having me here today. I really appreciate you going out there and trying to, get people to speak, which is something less educated towards. So thank you for taking the first step. And then, yeah, hello everyone. I am Prakriti. I am a MBA, a Cornell Tech MBA candidate here, graduating in May. Really excited about that. Before coming to Cornell, I have 5+ years of work experience in SAP consultancy. And yeah, here I am.
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much, for joining me on this call and giving a little bit about your background. I know that there are a lot of people who sort of ask me about what the Cornell MBA program was like. And, you're second year, so you're more experienced than I am. I would love to get, what was your experience kind of like both on the Cornell campus and I guess now in New York as well?
Yeah, so this program is 1 year STEM MBA program. So but we get to experience both the worlds. I mean, we were in Ithaca for the summer semester, and we are here for the other 2 semesters. So yeah, it's been amazing so far. It's good to be a part of the bigger community in general. I mean, Cornell. So it gives us a lot of opportunities, networking, and in general, a lot of bonds I've created so far. I love my cohort. It's really warm and diverse, which is amazing. So the journey so far has been amazing. We can actually get to that as we progress.
Of course. And what's it been like the difference between like moving from Ithaca to New York? Because Ithaca is so small and there's so little like time to be able to, get from like one place to the other or actually even interact with your classmates. So how is it like moving to a bigger city where everybody's so spaced out?
Yeah, it was fun actually. The best part about it was we got time to connect with each other, in Ithaca. And when we moved to New York, it was not that difficult because we moved together. It was not like we were moving alone. So we moved here as a cohort together. So that was amazing experience in itself. Renting cars, loading the luggage and everything, moving together. It was amazing. And we were, when we came to New York, there was a very warm welcome for us here, and then later the other programs. So we have 8 master's program here in this New York campus. So the other folks also joined us around August. So that was amazing. I mean, not just that our cohort was coming here, but it was like we were accompanied by many people.
So you said that your background was in consulting. Like what led you from, consulting, which is such a business sort of focused field, into technology? Like what was that gap? Did you have prior experience working in tech, or what sort of sparked that interest?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I mean, I have been into technology. I completed my bachelor's in information technology, bachelor's in engineering. And after that, after completing the software engineering, I actually started working with Tata as a techno-functional consultant. So it's been like technology driven my entire career. Cornell is like just giving me those leadership opportunities that I've been missing my entire life. And not to forget the expert guidance from professors here, which are the world's best faculty. I would say the curriculum itself, it's like challenging, but very innovative at the same time. So with tech, it's like, I guess it's going to be the next best. I would say the next thing. Everybody's going into tech anyways. Tech is so evolving. I mean, it's been constantly changing since I have been into tech, but the technology has changed in the last 5 years so much that I mean, even the leadership qualities needs to be enhanced or needs to be changed in order to match the pace of the technology. So it's not just the technology in general, but the leadership also have to walk hand in hand with the same. So that's where I guess the Cornell comes into play for me.
Yeah, of course. I mean, let's talk tech. Like, what are some trends that currently interest you in technology that you think should be managed better right now, or there's a need for management in that sector?
Yeah, of course. I mean, first of all, AI and ML, it's not something that is not spoken yet, but then AI and ML is the next feat. But just not just that, there comes the ethical concerns and risk with that. So that's where the leadership can play a role. And then apart from the ethical, that there's a lot of I would say scope in UX as well, considering a lot. So I'm on the side pursuing a UI UX subject, and part of it is research on neurodivergence, which is like a underrepresented community. So I see that as a leadership, there is a lot of scope in that area as well, which is healthcare. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, of course. I definitely think that there's a lot of scope, especially with new generative AI technologies that we keep talking about, especially with the ethical concerns, because they're responsible for all that image generation and everything. And just bringing it back to, I guess, like what your experience was when you were doing the recruiting process. I know there are a lot of people who are sort of interested in the whole digital tech immersion. Could you sort of bring it a little bit for our viewers about what your recruiting process was like and what the immersion was like for you?
Recruiting process, like right now, we are like in the
Still,
market.
still in the process of recruiting, I understand. But what's it been like? What your experience has been like so far, basically?
Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, so again, it's been very diverse. It's like I would say balance between what we were doing earlier and trying to find those transferable skill set in the next role that we'll be targeting. For example, if you were a tech consultant, business consultant before, the next feat would be a senior consultancy role. So how would you find the niche sector of those transferable skill sets and apply to the other roles going forward? Some people are also recruiting for product management, including myself. But when we talk about product, it's not just the development part. It has its own set of like I would say subset of skills required. Again, we have to identify the niche transferable skill sets and apply those there to innovate on the product itself. So far, the experience has been, I would say, good because here the program prepares us to prepares us for what's coming next for us, be it interview skills, be it the projects that we have worked on, and be it the network that we have built together. Everything comes into play when we talk about recruiting. So it's been going good. We are hearing back on interviews. We are in mid of the interview processes. And then going forward, I guess people have started hearing back on offers as well. So that's looking good right now. So I'm really happy on how things are turning around.
That's good. That's good to hear. What were some of the classes that you took, or like what were some professors that you really appreciated their classes?
Yeah, of course, a lot of I have a lot of classes that I actually love because this is my first time taking an education abroad. Not only that, the courses here are so diverse. For example, I'm taking AI strategy on one hand, as I said, and then UX on the other side with Professor Sherry, and AI strategy is taught by Professor Finger, and then we took operations with Professor Karan, and so it's like a diverse set of curriculum that we have here. Everything is great. It's just that what you're interested in, and that's how you can choose your electives. So in our program, we have a set of core courses, which you have to take. Those are the mandatory courses. Every faculty, every course is like selected on the basis of the business skill sets that you're supposed to have. And then there comes elective set of courses. So those courses, it's more based upon where you want to go, what would benefit you the most from your perspective, and that's how you choose them. So yeah, both the parts have been amazing for me. From the core part, I love Professor Karan's course, operations, because I have supply chain background, so that goes instead. And from the other courses, I love AI strategy by Professor Lutzfinger. As I already said, there's UX by Professor Sherry, and then there's technology management, Professor Blevins. Amazing courses.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think it's great to hear that you're getting a chance to sort of experience all sorts of areas in technology, especially when it comes to both supply chain and operations and all of that. And I think it's great that I think Cornell offers a really like wide range of areas in technology. So when it comes to, since you said that this was the first time that you sort of have your education abroad, and I know there are a lot of students that are sort of coming in. So what advice would you offer to future international students? Because I'm actually also an international student as well, in a way.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, my advice would be to actually, think about what brings you here, what skill set you can contribute to the university, and at the same time, what would be your gains. So it worked both ways, right? It's not like you would only be at the receiving end, but also you'll have to try to find out what would you bring to the community, what would you bring to the table. So that's how you find the balance. For me, I wanted to give into the community. I'm here as a student ambassador, trying to help incoming students because I wanted to help them. I mean, thinking about what I would have loved for myself, I'm trying to bring that change for others. It's like leading with example, so that the incoming classes would do the same and keep helping niche. So 1 year STEM MBA program, the one drawback that I think is we don't have the 2 year guidance. I mean, for example, when you're there in your program, you would have the opportunity to network with your seniors so that they'll guide you. For us, by the time we are here, our students have already graduated. So something that I think would have been nice to actually, although we do connect, I mean, there are a lot of networking programs and we do organize a lot of events here. So they come and we get to network with them, but not like they are on campus with us. So that changes things a lot. So in order to communicate, it takes us much more effort to actually reach out there. So that's why I chose to be a student ambassador for the international community. They have a lot of questions for like visa questions, what bank account to open, and not just that, how to interact with the community, which housing preference should we choose, what's the expenses looking like, everything. They have like smallest of the issues to the biggest of the issues. That's where I wanted to come into play. That's my giving back to the community. And, gaining is, I guess, same for everyone, like the networking, the friends, the guidance from the professors, the career, I mean, next feed and the career, everything is like a combined package.
Yeah, of course. And like what were some of the challenges that you faced as an international student you're coming in? I know there's like housing, especially trying to find housing in New York City is basically impossible.
Yeah.
And also like what were some of the supports that you guys had offered to international students who are looking for this sort of stuff on in New York?
Yeah, I mean, for New York, it was easier for me because we started our semester from Ithaca. I mean, the entire course was started from Ithaca. So that was pretty difficult for me because I was struggling with jet lag and attending the classes at the same time because I got my admission really late. So I didn't have time to actually book the tickets in advance and be there on time. So I completely rushed through the entire onboarding process, something that I would not recommend to the incoming students. So there's the learning right there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that was the difficult part for me to juggle the jet lag and the courses at the same time. Because when you're sitting in a classroom full of brilliant minds, they are like having their views, a discussion is going on, and you're struggling with jet lag, believe me, that never helps. I mean, it's like you're missing in a lot of information. So yeah, but the after that, moving to New York was much easier because I had all my friends here. So Ithaca gave us that 2 months specifically with our cohort, those 90 people. So we are a very closely built community. So I had help going forward every step then on. For example, when we moved to New York, I had help, with people like we moved in together. If we were like struggling with like if we were fatigued, there were people helping me out with like cooking and other things. Nothing that I would say, I mean, I struggled, not in New York, no. Because I live on campus housing, so it's easy.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, that's good to hear that
Yeah.
you've got your housing stuff sort of situated,
Yeah.
which is great. And you said you were flying sort of in and out. And also when it comes to visas and everything, how was that sort of visa process for you? Like what was your sort of admission story, so to speak, from the beginning to the till you got to Cornell?
Yeah, so when I was applying for the admission, I was in Netherlands by the time, and I couldn't take into consideration the time difference. So my application was considered not for the third round, but for the fourth round. So I
Wow.
had to kind of rush in through the visa process. It's like I was supposed to start June 1. And after everything, interview and visa, I got my visa in hand on 27th of May, and I had 2 days to board my flight and be here. So it was kind of really rushed. But the best part about, because I applied from India, I'm an Indian international here in US. So from India, I applied. I got the application date for interview in Mumbai. So I moved from I live in Indore, Madhya Pradesh. So I got my appointment in Mumbai. So there was a lot of travel within India itself. It's not like I was a part of the metro city and there was a visa appointment right there in the city. No, that didn't work. I packed my luggage, sent it to Mumbai airport again. Indore it doesn't have an international airport, so I caught my flight from Mumbai airport. So all my even though I didn't have the visa in hand, all my luggage was packed and waiting for me at the Mumbai airport. As soon as I got the visa, I just left for Mumbai and grabbed my international flight there. So a lot of things have to work together. And again, I wouldn't recommend applying that late. Just be at the top of the deadline always. Don't make dumb mistakes like me.
No, you're here. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I am here. As I said, I received a lot of support and guidance from folks. I mean, I wouldn't have been here without them. Uh, my senior supported me. My senior Saurabh Saha, he guided me through the interview process, to the visa process, to everything. Even the housing here. I wrote a lot of emails. I wasn't assigned a housing at first, but I wrote a lot of emails saying that I'm an international. I need a place here. I'm not sure where am I gonna go with the luggage if not here. So yeah, a lot of things actually, as I said, people do help a lot, internationals specifically on the campus. If you speak up, if you let them know that you're struggling with something, they will definitely reach out to you. I mean, even with the campus job here, I was struggling with my expenses and I reached out to the academic affairs team here that, hey, I need support and I would like to, be a student support, technical support here on campus so that I have an extra income to support my expenses. And they were very, very, they perceived it so well. They helped me out, try to find a job for me on campus. And I started like my job as soon as I was in New York. So yeah, the people here, faculties here, they're very supportive.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, I think that's great that you were able to sort of get that job and get that supplemental income, because it's definitely a struggle when it comes to sort of managing your finances, and being on top of it for the first time is just very amazing. And I think that's really great. And how do you, okay, if you don't mind me asking, how do you manage your finances when you're here? Because I feel like you're really on top of this.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of ways to manage your finances, but for me, it's like I plan my entire week, entire day beforehand, and I usually cook at home, don't spend a lot eating outside. Not that we have many options on the island. That's again something, if we want to eat anything good, we go off the island to the Manhattan or Queens or. So I don't usually do that a lot. I usually cook in, eat at home, and I'm a vegetarian as well, so a lot of restrictions eating out. Yeah, but that's it. I mean, you manage your expenses. You have a plan. You take a loan. Actually, even when you're applying for a loan, you have to have a perspective that, okay, this is how much I'm going to spend each month, and you calculate that, take that into perspective, and then apply for a loan.
Mhm.
So it has to like be that way, because if you don't, I mean, you have a limited amount, you have your expenses planned out. That's the only way you can survive.
Mhm.
Additional income is one thing, but then you would have additional expenses. Even the EAD process requires you to spend like $410 just for the application itself, and there are going to be miscellaneous expenses every time. Like you plan to attend an event, or you plan to actually go out of the city, be there for another event. So there's traveling cost, there's a lot of other things. That, for example, this one time I wanted to join a club in Ithaca. In order to take the entry into the club, I had to pay $65. So there are miscellaneous expenses everywhere, not just that. And even for the courses, you buy Harvard case studies. Each case studies would cost you around $40 to $50. So just keep those miscellaneous expenses on side. And then that's how I'm managing, my miscellaneous expenses with the job here. But then there's a lot of basic expenses. So you juggle between those.
Yeah, yeah. And we were sort of talking about this a little bit offline, I know, about the food and everything. So how is it that, how do you sort of find a sense of community when you're, especially in the US? Because I know that speaking as somebody who's Indian myself, trying to find a sense of home and belonging is very interesting when you're in the US. So how do you manage that? How are you able to find that sense of belonging community at Cornell?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of ways to be a part of the community. So first of all, there are clubs here. So I'm a board member of the art club here. So you could be a part of the community by opening your own club and finding the people with the same creative background. Or what you could do is you could take a fellowship program. That is another way to building a community. The third, you could actually be a part of the research that other folks in the university are conducting. Could be a PhD student looking for or seeking participants for their experimentation processes. That's other way to contribute to the community. Other part could be, by your own, you could take a lot of initiative like you are right now interviewing me. So that's another example, very good example of how you interact with the community. Next up is like my friend Monica, she keeps conducting because she's an external chair. There's a student government. So you get to be a part of the student government, you get elected. Once you're elected, you connect with like external share responsibilities to actually reach out to the seniors, ask them to connect. And then once they are onboarded, we will ask them, we will interview them like you're to me now. We'll ask them to share their experiences with us, what happened with them previous year from like hiring and everything. So similar kinds of events could take place. Other thing again would be like women communities, like women in tech, women tech makers, like I'm a part of women tech makers or something like that. You could do a lot of startups here. So you could be a part of any of the startups, like connect with them. There's a lot of studio programs here. So it's like not one, like I named only a few, like 8 of them, but there are multiple ways to contribute to the community.
Yeah, yeah, of course. You're on campus, you're a brand ambassador, and you're a part of a lot of clubs as well. So what has that been like? How have you been able to take that leadership role and sort of make an impact both in like the Johnson community and mostly the MBA community at large?
Yeah, I mean, I still don't think that I've made an impact. I'm trying to, yes.
You're
Um,
making an impact.
no, I'm not there yet. Believe me, I hope to though. I'm very active. I try to be very active. I wouldn't say that I am. I reach out to like professionals. I'm trying to participate here in a study, neurodivergence study, a research which I feel passionate about. And a lot of things that I need, there are a lot of topics which are understated, needs to be spoken about. That's where I take initiatives. Apart from that, I try to be active on LinkedIn, trying to reach out to people, not just by like just posting stuff, not that, but just networking in general, like reaching out to people, making connections, and not just any connections, valuable connections. May not be immediate benefits right now. It's just like reaching out to people, getting to know and learn from their experiences while sharing yours on the way. So the learning is mutual. That's what I try to do. And again, from the women's community and the international community, again, I'm the student ambassador here. I try to resolve as many queries as I can. There's a Unibuddy profile that I manage. So every student ambassador here are provided with a Unibuddy profile, and incoming students can reach out to us. So we will be available for their queries over LinkedIn, over email, and the Unibuddy profile. And then I try to post a lot of content identifying the generic queries, and I post the content on the Unibuddy profile specific to those queries so that it's easier for them to just go through the FAQs rather than reaching out to us. So yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, being a part of those clubs is really important, I feel, and also sort of getting the chance to create that impact and also be a leadership position. It is a lot of work. How do you manage both, being in those leadership roles with academics at Cornell and then also sort of recruiting? Because you said you were currently recruiting. So how are you able to manage all of those things at once?
Yeah, I mean, we only have 24 hours in a day. Not like you get additional hours just for trying to do extra things. It's not like that. I mean, you have to find time every day if you want to contribute. So sometimes you see me very active, sometimes you might not. So that's when the time that I'm very busy with the curriculum. Maybe there are exams, there are midterms, there are assignments due, projects due. So it's not like we have to be at top of everything. So there are highs, there are lows. Sometime in a day you'll feel like, okay, it's 70% assignments today and maybe 30% your personal care or your personal time. But sometimes that goes away completely. I mean, you wouldn't even have 5% time for yourself. It's going to be crazy. But you try to adopt your schedule as per the things that I mean, that's what management is about, I guess.
Yeah.
Time management. It's where your training starts the day one at Cornell.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And as someone, I've worked in both like business and tech careers as well. And I think with tech careers, sometimes I feel like I had more time, and with business careers, I need to constantly be on top of everything all the time.
Yeah. No, I understand that. And I second to that because um for us as well, the same thing. You have to get the new skill set, but maintain your other core skills. So maintaining, people don't, talk about it much, but just maintaining a skill is very, very cumbersome because just think about it. I mean, technology is changing so fast. I
Yeah,
mean, think about we have learned C, C++, Java, and then there was
exactly.
Python. I've done SAP ABAP and a lot of BI softwares, and now it's AI and ML entirely. And if you want
Everything.
to, walk at pace with the technology, you have to know about not just, I'm not talking about the technical knowledge. You have to know about the technology work, how the technology works in general.
Mhm.
So as a leader, you should be able to identify, okay, this is the stack, this is where we would be working, this is the innovation sector, this is the industry it would be benefiting. And not just that, it's application across, vertical and horizontal as well. That's what I'm talking about. That's what takes a lot of effort, just knowing about those stuff.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, especially when when it comes to tech, and especially tech jobs, is you need to know your technology on a micro level. Like you need to know about it in depth. But when it comes to business, you need to know a little bit about everything, but also know about how it impacts the world at large. So what do you think is sort of the main difference between like when you are recruiting and you're going through that process, is sort of between like the business world versus the tech world? Because you and I, we've seen both sides of the coin. So would love to get your take on that.
Like, what's the difference between the two?
Yeah, yeah, of course. What's the what do you find is the biggest difference between both of those sectors?
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I pivoted from software engineering to business, the one of the main reason was how's the technology impacting the business in the real time. For example, I was just a developer first. It's difficult as a developer to identify how it's impacting the larger part of the chain. For example, if I was working on order management, then how order management fits in the entire supply chain of order to cash is where I piqued my interest, because how technology is impacting the business, it's one thing, but it's impacting the industry is another thing altogether. And that's what excites me. With business, it's not just the technical skill set that you bring, but you have to know the processes. Process is very crucial because you could innovate and optimize the process if you know it entirely. Technology is one of the ways you can optimize the entire process. Other ways of optimizing could be serialization, right? Decentralization.
Yeah.
Okay, you could actually think of some cutover activities, if not cutover price cutting strategies. There's revenue on the side. Okay, there's like managing supply with demand, overcutting, underfitting, like a lot of things that's what is like management in general, a combination of all those stuff with
Yeah.
technology embedded somewhere.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I mean, with all the new technologies that are coming in, when we're talking about disruptive technologies like AI,
Yeah.
right? We definitely get to talk about basically being able to use that data in so many different ways, but then also looking at the drawbacks, and you can use it to improve efficiency with your workers, with developers now. You could have like ChatGPT just write code for you. So it's again, it comes back to that same context of do we really need do we really need developers? Do we really need those sorts of that manpower when you can just have AI sort of replacing people's jobs? And I think that's kind of just the fear and also opportunity that we have. I would love to get your take on that as well. How do you see the field going moving forward in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the AI is gonna take away jobs anytime soon. Just ask ChatGPT to generate a Google form for me. It will give you the steps, but it cannot generate a Google form for you. So it's like it's good. It would help you with like repetitive tasks, but it's not good for doing a specialized task, I would say, unless and until it's specifically trained for it. Just think about the data that you gather. The first step is actually ETL processing on data, trying to identify what data is meaningful, what is not, and how to convert that data to meaningful data and generate impactful dashboards. That's where the expertise. So people who have worked in the industry comes with a lot of experience, 20 years of experience, 15 years of experience, and are well aware of the real-time scenarios. There's a restriction of how much information you can feed to a system, right? You cannot feed you can feed maybe one person experience, two persons experience. Just think about, the industry experience people bring over time. You cannot do that. We have seen technology change, but technology is still built by humans. So again, there's a lot of scope with the technology, but mostly of repetitive tasks. For example, if you're using a dashboard, just querying it, prompting is where you could get help. But identifying the data, trying to identify the niche sector still would require human, I would say, intelligence. It's not there yet. And I mean, talking from my own experiences, just try ChatGPT a few more times and you would understand it's not that accurate unless and until you are prompt engineering. Zero-shot training sometimes work, but sometimes it might not. So you'll have to ask them for a role play, even not role play, then paraphrasing of some sort, but you have to give it a lot of instructions. You cannot do that on day-to-day basis when it comes to data. And think about the trust. For example, if I am a multi-billion-dollar company and I'm trying to invest or make decisions based upon the dashboard which is presented by AI, how much trust would I hold on that technology? Is giving me something, for example, 7% with increase in sales if I do this, but how much confidence do I hold? This is one example. Second example would be in the banking industry. Think about all the money you have in bank. What if AI suggests you some of the investment options? Would you be going for that? Think about the trust. Oh, and think about a person who is guiding you through that process. So again, the same thing. AI assistance is one thing, but the person and the trust that the organization or individual brings to the tasks is different and unmatchable at the moment.
I mean, I would have to agree with you on that as well. Like, it's basically, I think it definitely improves efficiency and makes it easier for us to sort of automate a couple of tasks, which are sort of repetitive and, doing that. But you can't really replace the human factor, the human touch that comes to it. So where do you think AI is going to improve efficiency also when it comes to when you're going to be working with it in the future?
Yeah, as I said, the repetitive tasks would be one of the industries, writing and scripts, like generating movie scripts or generating short movies. For example, a company Runway, I'm not sure if you're aware, like text to video, they generate text to video, and you could generate shorter videos of marketing videos of your product and actually set it out to like a very specific groups and just check the turnaround. If it's working for you, invest a lot of money do the actual production of the video that you want. So it's like try fast, fail fast kind of thing is where AI can work. The other sector where I think AI could work is again guidance, education. Amazing. You could actually have AI with guided instructions for people. Again, neurodivergent community, they might need additional supports. Maybe gamification would help them better concentrate. A lot of people who are neurodivergent also suffer from depression and other things. Again, a virtual reality would help them step out or maybe work out, stuff like that. A lot of innovation could help there. So at the same time, when we are talking about AI taking away jobs, it will give you jobs as well. It's like thinking about from the creative perspective, coming to the UX now, okay? Think about the time an artist spent to actually innovate on a product idea. But now prompting to the AI and generating those preliminary ideas for the final product would be much easier. For example, generating templates would be much easier with like AI and the image. But again, they could add their own specific specialization or learnings to innovate that further. So the number is good, but the product still needs to be worked upon by an individual. So it's like prompt engineering jobs would be created again. A lot of people don't know how to prompt. So it's not like just giving away jobs, but a lot of job creation, and at the same time, a lot of scope for improvement, like applications in general.
Yeah, of course. I think, and I'm glad that you mentioned the media sector, because there was also a Toronto-based media company that recently released a short film called Airhead. It's on YouTube if any of my viewers want to watch it. That was completely made using AI. I think they're also going to come up with Airhead Part 2 as well. But it's very cool. It's very interesting how that tool is going to be applied in that sector as well. And also, you mentioned using AI when it comes to neurodivergent individuals. Do you have a lot of experience in that sector, and how do you think that that will sort of help them or impact people with disabilities at large?
Yeah, first of all, I don't think I have a lot of experience. I'm just learning from my mentors here, and a lot of people are actually dedicating a lot of time in their research, because its approval is kind of difficult when it comes to research, because those are considered sensitive communities, and in order to experiment with them, you need a lot of approval. And I genuinely believe those people are underserved, because a lot of people have this mentality that neurodivergent people have below average intelligence, which is not true. A lot of them actually have above average intelligence, and 95% of those people are actually unemployed because they lack accommodations. Thinking about what industry has to offer, a lot of companies are now pivoting towards providing accommodations for such people. Even the inclusive design. So inclusive design is something which works both for neurodivergent individuals as well as neurotypical individuals. So these kind of designs, even at the architectural level, even at the software level, is something which is crucial going forward. So that is where I'm trying to make a difference, and just being an advocate of that, I guess, is the first step that we can take. Just knowing that there exists among us people like that, which might need accommodations. As a leader and as a someone who is undergoing MBA, it's crucial to know that. Think about you're meeting your team for the first time. You never know, because these are confidential information. You never know if there are neurodivergent individuals within your team. Just thinking about how you speak to a person or how to make them evolved, because you see, one person is performing very good and the other person not. You don't know why the person is struggling. They might need additional accommodation. You don't know because you were not aware about that. So just advocating this is crucial. That's the first step, I believe.
Yeah, of course. I definitely think if you can make an impact in a community and sort of help everyone at large is a great thing that I think you guys are doing. Doing research into that area is definitely important and impactful. Another thing that I just sort of wanted to ask was a little bit about the ethical concerns when it comes to AI. You said that we're going to be using AI in education, and you definitely don't want to be teaching the future generation, like, as I understand that AI can be heavily biased, and I know that we're sort of in the nascent stages. So how would you go against sort of fighting against that bias that AI has, especially when you're feeding it different kinds of data through human beings are going to be feeding that data, right? And then they have their own implicit biases. So how do you combat that?
Yeah, actually, that's a very good point that you brought now. Even AI, if you think of it, they are actually changing the history, the bots. If you ask ChatGPT how how your ancestors would look like, I don't think it would know. It would just generate some images of like Asian people, but they might be wearing American outfits. So it's like they don't know. They are already changing the history Manipulating the history, not changing, manipulating. So yeah, it might not be the best source of information as you rightly identified earlier, but what I meant when I say education is like guided education, like more for this underserved communities, like gamification or already existing prompting, or maybe easier way to go through the already existing text rather than generating new text, which is like generative AI is known for generating something's new. Not that, but just better maybe indexing or better searching, because search is going to change, right? Search is one of the industries which should be disrupted with AI. So something like that that would actually aid faster retrieval of information, and not just any information, like will provide reasoning, summary of the text that you're looking out for, cite the sources, and not just citing any sources, but sources which are relevant to the query that you're searching. Not just like clicking a few times, like how it happens in Google, we get like index based upon the number of clicks. This is one kind of search, but I assume it's gonna get disrupted very soon. So it would be more like a summary at the top, a lot of sources. Have you used Perplexity? Something like that.
Oh, okay, okay. So sort of something that sort of randomizes the data so that we get a sort of different diverse perspectives when we're going to be feeding that into the model.
Yeah, so it's not like generating new content, but better search and better access to the existing content. But yeah, you highlighted very I mean important point about ethical risks. A lot with deep fakes and whatnot, you know, it's going to be very highly regulated industries, what I believe. Recently, Europe AI Act was passed, and I mean now countries are actually stepping forward to regulate, trying to regulate, not that they have done it successfully, we don't know it yet, but yeah, it's going to be another sector, and I believe who would be the first one to actually regulate it would again open a new sector for enhancements, and again would be a career you want to be in. Yeah, so that's about it. I mean, AI regulation is not easy. Just to keep it out, it's not easy. It's just not nearly as easy as you see it. It's going to be very difficult identifying everything and regulating everything. Because, I mean, as I said earlier, deep fakes could be something that, you know, can involve your image, and it would be seen doing a lot of things that you as an individual don't resonate with. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's also a really important point that you brought up when it came to sort of AI, and especially when it comes to image. A lot of things with a company's reputation are sort of dependent on the image that they project. And also, you know, even in our day-to-day lives, we also project a certain sort of image when it comes to succeeding in business. So how do you think that AI can sort of help with that? Help enhance maybe a company's reputation. I understand, you know, deepfakes can and definitely work against it and hamper that reputation. But what's your take on that?
No, it's definitely, I mean, an industry that you want to be with, because the industry is changing really fast. And if companies are not investing in AI, they are like, even if they're not moving forward, I would consider them going like, you know, lagging back if they're not doing or innovating on AI. That's the industry trend right now. But the big companies, as you see it, are taking very, you know, very, I would say specific methods to make sure that they are being regulated, because they have a lot more to lose. When you talk about startups, they will be out there doing stuff very innovative, but that would make you question that why aren't the big industries doing that? Because they have a lot more risk of losing a lot more. It's like they have a customer base which they truly trust, but even a slightest step in the wrong direction is gonna bring the brand image down. So that's why you wouldn't see a lot of innovation for the big companies, but definitely startups are like booming. You'll see like people innovating on things. This one startup I came across, they are building the buildings using robots, and in just in less than 20 hours. That's their product like vision. And then there's one other company, they prepare the robots for guiding blind people across hospitals. Again, very innovative. but again, the applications are questionable because is there any supervision, guidance? What if the hurdles come in between? So a lot of things. You keep seeing videos of Teslas as well. I mean, going away sometimes, not working as expected. So a lot of things happening, but again, big companies cannot afford to make such risks.
Yeah, yeah, of course. That being said, you've sort of reached almost like the completion, the final lap of your MBA program. So how do you see sort of your career evolving, and what sort of lessons do you have for people who are coming into this field for either for the first time or because they have experience in the field as well?
Yeah, for the first, I mean, that would be me a year ago. That was my first time. So yeah, I mean, it's amazing. This is where you want to be right now, just to keep it out there. I mean, just thinking about how the industry is changing, what kind of people you meet. I am a truly different person in a year because the technology has changed so much, keeping at pace with that, what's happening in the industry, keeping at the top of things, getting inputs from the professors here, what's wrong, what right, getting feedback on every step. That is very crucial. Incorporating those feedback is what you're looking out for. Feedbacks are again crucial. People understate the fact that, the fact of feedback, even if it's a product, even if it's your career, just incorporate those feedbacks and don't count on immediate returns. Some things that I've learned in the past year. And not even just that, being at Cornell has changed my personality inside out. I was not this outgoing. I was not this person that I am right now. I interact more. I am at the top of technology. I try to be at the top of technology. I try to participate wherever I can. I try to contribute, trying to find ways to innovate myself, keep my learnings up to date. I don't think I was that person before. So it just not just changes you professionally, but it changes you as a person inside out.
Of course, of course. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for giving me your time and giving me the opportunity to interview you. I think it's great to hear from somebody who has been in the program and just getting that chance to sort of hear a little bit about the tech industries is really great. So thank you again. And thank you so much for everybody who's sort of been watching all of my interviews, watching this video and all of my previous videos. I guess we will see you guys in the next one.